Another quiet suburb is shaken as more victims die at the hands of the killer.
As the Night Stalker's brutal and increasingly frequent crimes marked with satanic symbols, Los Angeles was in a state of terror. The Night Stalker had already claimed his first victims, but now, with each passing day, his brutal attacks were escalating. Fear gripped the city, and no one knew who would be next. What everyone did know was this: he had to be stopped. The police found themselves desperate for a breakthrough, but leads were scarce, and uncertainty loomed. Was this the work of one man or a sinister group?
Demonstrated a lot of violence.
He was doing horrible things to people, sodomizing, gouging people's eyes out.
The so-called Night Stalker may have struck again.
No matter where we were, there was a report about Night Stalker. It was on the TV. It was in all the papers.
Most serial killers follow some pattern. There was nothing predictable about what this guy did.
This was normal folks like you and I who were being slaughtered.
I'm afraid for everybody, elderly, young.
There was a faceless, nameless, violent criminal out there, and you didn't know where he was going to hit next.
I was young when I was like 5, 6. I opened the curtains, and outside the window there was a monster. Big, hairy monster.
And did he tell you to do anything?
No, I mean, I used to get some...
Amidst the growing panic, 2 detectives from the LA County Sheriff's Department emerged as the driving force behind the investigation. Frank Salerno and Gil Carrillo. Frank was a seasoned investigator widely respected for his role in solving the Hillside Strangler case. With decades of experience in tracking down some of the city's most notorious criminals, Salerno brought a calm, methodical approach to the investigation. His partner, Gil Carrillo, was a rising star in the department, known for his sharp instincts and relentless determination. Though newer to homicide, Carrillo's intuition and ability to see connections others might miss made him a vital asset to the team. The turning point for the investigation came after the horrific murders of Vincent and Maxine Zazzara on March 27, 1985. As Salerno and Carrillo examined the crime scene, the sheer savagery they encountered was unlike anything they had seen before. It was a chilling reminder that the killer's depravity knew no bounds. Vincent had been shot in the head while he slept, and Maxine had been viciously stabbed, her body mutilated in ways that suggested a deep-seated rage. The scene was made even more disturbing by the satanic symbols left behind, most notably a pentagram drawn in lipstick on the bedroom wall, a chilling signature that would soon become familiar. Detective Carrillo had been closely analyzing several unsolved cases in the area. Immediately, he recognized the pattern. This was not the first time he had seen such horrific violence coupled with satanic imagery. He recalled the earlier cases of Maria Hernandez and Dale Ogazi, where the same .22 caliber handgun had been used. The eerie similarities in the methods of attack began to solidify his theory. The randomness of the victims, who ranged in age, gender, and ethnicity, further convinced Carrillo that these were the actions of a serial killer who was not driven by any specific motive, but rather by the compulsion to kill. Salerno, drawing on his extensive experience in the Hillside Strangler case, agreed with Carrillo's assessment. The 2 detectives began piecing together the evidence from multiple crime scenes. One of the most critical pieces of evidence was a distinctive Avia shoe print, which had been found at several locations, including the homes of both Zazzara's and other previous victims. The shoe print became a crucial link between the cases, suggesting that this was the same person responsible for multiple attacks. As they continued their investigation, Salerno and Carrillo also took note of the growing frequency of attacks. From the assaults on Maria Hernandez to the Zazzara's murders just 10 days later, it was clear that the killer was becoming more emboldened, striking with alarming regularity. The pattern of violence was escalating in both brutality and ritualistic elements, further indicated that this was not an isolated spree, but the work of a highly dangerous individual who thrived on fear and chaos. By connecting these dots, the use of the same firearm, the satanic symbols, and the Avia shoe prints, and the accelerating pace of the attacks, Salerno and Carrillo were able to build a comprehensive profile of the Night Stalker. They were now certain that they were dealing with a single calculating predator who moved freely across Los Angeles, targeting victims at random and leaving behind a trail of terror. The investigation took a significant leap forward on August 24, 1985, when the Night Stalker attacked Bill Carns and his fiancée, Inez Erickson, in their Mission Viejo home. In a terrifying ordeal, Ramirez shot Carns in the head 3 times with a .25 caliber handgun, leaving him for dead, before brutally assaulting Miss Erickson. Despite her severe injuries and trauma of the attack, Erickson survived, and her resilience would prove critical in the hunt for the Night Stalker. Erickson managed to slowly crawl her way to a neighbor's house to get help, and later provided the police with a detailed description of her assailant. She described the Night Stalker as a tall, gaunt Hispanic man with rotting teeth and wild, bulging eyes. This description matched reports from previous survivors and witnesses, adding a vital piece to the puzzle. Simultaneously, a 13-year-old neighbor who had been out working on his bicycle noticed a suspicious vehicle, an orange Toyota station wagon, leaving the scene. The boy memorized the partial license plate number and passed it on to police. This small but crucial detail led investigators to the stolen vehicle, which was later found abandoned in a parking lot in Los Angeles. Forensic experts meticulously examined the car, and they were only able to lift one single clear fingerprint from a rearview mirror. This was the breakthrough Salerno and Carrillo had been waiting for. The print was run through the police database and came back as a match for a man by the name of Richard Ramirez. He was a known criminal with a lengthy rap sheet for petty crimes, including auto theft, burglary, and drug possession. But now they had him linked to something far more sinister. With Ramirez's identity confirmed, law enforcement agencies across Southern California, led by Salerno and Carrillo, launched an all-out manhunt. They knew that Ramirez was armed, dangerous, and likely to strike again. On August 29, 1985, Ramirez's mugshot was released to the public along with his full name and a warning that he was extremely dangerous. Just 2 days later, on August 31, 1985, Ramirez was recognized by a group of vigilant residents in the Boyle Heights neighborhood of East Los Angeles. After noticing his picture in the newspaper and recognizing him from the TV broadcasts, the community members quickly spread the word. Ramirez, realizing he was being pursued, attempted to flee, but he was chased down by a growing crowd. In a dramatic turn of events, he was subdued by the angry mob and held there until police arrived to arrest him. The capture of Richard Ramirez brought an end to the Night Stalker's reign of terror, a moment of immense relief for the citizens of Los Angeles. The relentless work of Detectives Salerno and Carrillo, and the cooperation of the public, and the bravery of the community finally put a face and a name to the horror that had plagued Southern California for months. But what dark forces drove Richard Ramirez to commit such unspeakable crimes? And what unfolded when the Night Stalker finally faced justice? Join us next time on Timeless Mysteries as we dive into the twisted mind of a killer and explore the trial that captivated the nation. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this with your friends. And if you'd like to support me further, please become a member today. As always, stay safe, stay vigilant, and always question the truth.
Do you admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another.
Yeah. Just speaking about it right now, I have chills on my arm.